was heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, oh my memory.
You are live. Hold on, Stevie. You don't have any sound going out. Again. Wow. Yeah. It's no sound going out to the stream, so hold on 1 minute. That's amazing. Here we go again. The sound gremlins. They are doing it to us. Go ahead and give me a 5 count. Wow. Bear with us, everybody. Bear with us, everybody. I could do bad lip reading for Stevie, but I don't want to do that. So go ahead and give me another count there, Stevie. All right, let me put in another audio channel real quick. Bear with me. Why does this do this to us there, Shanda?
Yep, loud and clear. Oh, Shada's saying she could hear us.
I could hear Steph.
Oh, Shada's saying she could hear us.
I can hear Stephanie, but I don't hear Oz. I can hear Stephanie.
Okay, now do you hear me?
Nope.
You don't hear me.
I can hear me though.
Now do you hear me?
Yep, got you both.
Okay, let's get Stephanie in the frame here.
I can hear me though.
Okay, can
Yep,
can we apologize? I'm going to apologize. I swear it's not my fault. I swear.
Okay, Oz screen share so Steph can see the screen.
All right, let's get back over here. Okay.
All right, so we're up and running now.
I hope so, and I'll figure out why it did what it did at some point in time. Let's see. Bear with me 1 minute. You want to start talking to him, Steph?
Okay.
And I'll just.
All right, sorry about that, y'all. You know, the gremlins in the sound always do something. There's always something that goes wrong with the audio, whether on my channel, anybody's, Graham's, there's always something. So I appreciate y'all's patience and sticking with us. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started on our live stream tonight. So I really wanted to focus tonight on the income inequality. And I know that it's something that gets talked about a lot, but I like to add a visual to it. You know, it's one thing to hear about it when it's like a theoretical kind of thing, but when you can see it, feel it, I think it makes it more real for everybody. So I want to get into lifestyles of the rich and shameless and compare that to the people that live under their rule. So we're going to go through some of the presidents. We're going to go through some governors and Walmart.
I think we lost another slide, but we lost slide number 2, and we're down to slide number 1 again. So here you go. This is the Walton family in the Arkansas. Is that what you wanted? That's all I've got to choose from. So there you go.
All right. So this is the Walton family estate in Arkansas, which Arkansas, by the way, is the poorest state in America. Its estimated value is $16.5 million. As you can see, they have a pool. They have, this. It's not even a mansion. They're so rich, it's not even a mansion. It's an estate. It's an estate. So, you got fuck you money when you have an estate. So, yeah. And meanwhile, they are in the poorest state. Their workers are on food stamps. They're on HUD. They can't pay their bills. They can't do anything. But, here's the Walton family. And that's just one of their homes. One of their homes. They own multiple homes, yachts. They're worth billions of dollars. And, their workers, the people that built this for them, are starving. They're on food stamps. They can't take vacations. They don't have a pool like that to swim in. They don't get time enough to go swimming as it is because they're too busy working 1, 2, 3 jobs in order to supplement their income because these billionaires won't pay them enough money. So go ahead and go to the next slide. We have that one before they all disappear. So yes, here we go. So the Walton family fortune, $191 billion. They make $70,000 per minute, $4 million per hour, and $100 million per day. Wouldn't it be nice to make, 10% of that? Something, anything. They're making $100 million every single day, and yet their workers can't make ends meet. Homeless, living out of their cars, on food stamps, HUD, if they're lucky enough. They rent rooms if they can. They can't even afford like a full apartment to rent. How are you supposed to raise a family? How are you supposed to do any of this stuff? Meanwhile, they have enough money to end world hunger, to, for a Green New Deal. They could do anything. They could do literally anything they want with that money. And the people that created that for them gets nothing. So that's just, and that I'd like to touch on that just because that goes for any state. Any state you live in, you have the Walmart parasite that you have to deal with. I mean, not only are they making record money right now, they're closing down all these mom and pop stores, creating like just devastation wherever they go. And then go to the next slide. This is Obama's mansion in Martha's Vineyard. It is worth $12 million. Now, how did a president who makes $400,000 a year, right, afford this $12 million monstrosity? It wasn't by doing right by his people. He exploited us. He exploited people around the world. He bombed people. He dropped bombs every 20 minutes. And that's how he was able to pay for that. Because after he did the, stockholders bidding, what happened after he got out of office? He gets paid millions of dollars for book deals, millions of dollars to make, speeches that nobody really cares about. Nobody cares what he has to say. He's just like, any other rich politician. But, they'll pay him money because that's their kickback, right? After he gets out of office, that's the hush money. So let's look at what, this is how Barack Obama lives. Now, let's see how the people live, the people that he's affected. Let's see what he's done. That's how everybody else lives. That's Syria. That was a thriving country. That was a busy city. People lived there. People worked there. There was commerce. And look at it now. It's a shell. It's a shell. But you know what? That's what democracy looks like, right? That's democracy for you.
Yeah,
that's our democracy.
He tortured a few folks, some folks, and he bombed some folks too. So yeah, I totally get you. That Martha Vineyard's estate you pointed out. His first speech out of the gate was $500,000, and when those stack up plus book deals and everything else, that's how he paid for it. And that's how most of these politicians, that's why they go to Washington, D.C. It's not for the $170,000 they get for being a senator or more for, president, but it's for what they get after. So it's the return on their investment of time. That Martha Vineyard is on 46 acres in Martha's Vineyard. It's shameful, if anything else, and I just had to throw that in, Stevie. I want to back you up as best I can while I'm trying to fix everything.
Martha's Vineyards, that's out in California, right?
No, it's Martha Vineyard. Is it in California? I'm being challenged here. Martha's Vineyard. I thought, is it Martha?
No, it's on the East Coast.
It's in Massachusetts, isn't it? Yeah, Martha's Vineyard is in Dukes County, Massachusetts. Yeah, Massachusetts.
Whenever I hear vineyards, I always think.
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Wow. 46 acres. Just think about how many crops you could grow on that for the hungry, or how many people could make homes on there for the homeless.
Yeah.
But instead you got Barack Obama sitting there, and he's sitting on multiple houses, vacation homes and things. The summer home, the winter home, the estate.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the people, what did he do for us? What does it look like for us? What kind of housing do we have? What does your house look like? Do you have a mansion? No. Do you have a well-paying job to where you can maybe someday, save up for that? No. I mean, it doesn't even matter what state you live in. Nobody can afford a 2-bedroom apartment on minimum wage. So that's what Barack Obama gave us, and this is what he got in exchange.
Yep.
In exchange for that.
Yeah.
Because it's a direct exchange. They extract wealth from us. They get their little kickbacks, like their Martha Vineyard mansion on 46 acres, and that's how they live. by doing this to us. So we're going to go on to George W. Bush now. This is the Bush family estate at Walker's Point. It's called the Walker's Point Estate. Do y'all live in a place where does your house or does your apartment have a name? I mean, you know you got too much money when your house has a name, right? Like it's the Walker's Point Estate. Estimated value $13.5 million in Maine. I tried to get one for Dick Cheney, but I can't find any pictures of his stuff online. So this is what we have, the Bush family Walker's Estate, or Bush family's Walker's Point Estate.
That looks like a golf country club next to the ocean.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that's really cool. I wonder what they charge for green fees there.
Gosh, I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, but I mean, do they even get to enjoy it? I mean, do they have human feelings to where they can, like, you know, for us, we want to relax and have fun, you know, after working and being on your feet for, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and then these people are too busy, making, exploiting people to even enjoy a thing like that.
Well, they live in a different reality, Stevie. I mean, that kind of mind is, the privileged mind doesn't even think about we, the peasants, who have enabled them, who have basically given them this kind of wealth in society. So we don't even count. It's like when Joe Biden was groping Tara Reid and he said, "You mean nothing to me." Well, that's the same mentality you get from all these rich people. I dare anybody to prove me wrong. So yeah, this guy's just another one. Did you want me to show the next slide, how he got this way?
Let's see.
Let's see. Mission accomplished. Wow. Mission accomplished. That's
one city.
Yeah, that's just one. That's not counting all the body bags courtesy of him and Cheney and his ilk. What happened to the anti-war movement in this country, Stevie? Do you know where it is?
I don't know. I mean, of course, mainstream media is not going to talk about it. I think it's still out there, but now they just don't report on the wars anymore.
No, they don't.
They went from that's why they got rid of the draft, was because too many people were, directly impacted by it to where they had to care. So they got rid of the draft. They quit showing, the caskets coming back. They quit showing the bombings. They quit showing stuff like this on the news. And now we're in how many different wars? How many countries are we in?
7 or 8.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
And just to go back to the Barack Obama slide, I mean, you look at that's one town in Syria, one city in Syria. That's one city, one country. Let's not talk about how he brought back slavery to Libya.
Yeah.
Syria.
The slave markets, yeah.
Yeah, the seven sister countries.
Yeah.
We have a base, a military base in pretty much every country that we know of.
Does anybody think that these countries that were bombed into desolation will even have the ability to build back better, to build back with the amount of sanctions, which is domestic terrorism, sanctions on countries that have been pummeled by the U.S. imperialism, are never going to recover, much less be able to get their life's blood back into their country. Can you imagine how those people feel? How much contempt, how much hate they have for the likes of this bastard in this picture and the other one before? I mean, we talk about having a moral compass in this country. Our moral compass is in the toilet when we allow this shit to go on. Syria. Did Syria ever come to attack us? Did they even threaten us? Why did we go? Why were we in there? Oh, Assad. He chemical attacked his people. Wrong. That was debunked. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. What did the Syrians do to you?
Nothing.
Did they do that to your home?
Nothing.
Imagine that being that building right up there. Imagine living in that or having your business there.
I envision people. Yeah, I see people. I see families there. I see them, and it breaks my heart.
And they all this talk about they want to keep us safe. Well, stop doing this shit. Stop doing this. Stop sending us over there to murder other people to make them hate us, stop sending us over there to risk our life and limb to kill other people that have never done us any harm. And this is our democracy, right?
Yep, that's
So
it.
they talk a lot about keeping us safe. This ain't keeping us safe.
No, not at all. It's making us less safe. Smedley Butler, war is a racket. War is a profiteering mechanism for the wealthy. That's all it is. And it's shameless. It's unconscionable. And I hope all these bastards rot, if there is such a hell, for doing this. They deserve it. Him and this guy right here, Cheney and all the rest, Rumsfeld, it's horrible. Do we have another mansion here to look at? Who's this?
Oh, this is my Governor Jim Justice's Flower 200 plantation, $12.2 million. Now, this is just one of 3 homes that he's auctioned off since he's been in office. I mean, look at that. You know you got rich money when your house starts having like circular additions onto it. I mean, it looks like a castle. It has turrets on it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is gigantic, in which he probably does need a gigantic house because he's so fucking huge. Okay. Now let's take a look at how the people live in West Virginia.
Okay, let's see how they live in West Virginia. Oh, how nice.
Now, I know, right? Now this is right up the road for me. This is Cabin Creek. So it's just like maybe 5 miles up the road from where I live. Coal, it's a coal mining town, just like, he's a coal baron. This is what his workers live in. This is where they live. This is what goes through there. Everybody has gray houses because there's coal dust on everything. We don't have big, white, beautiful mansions or just, regular houses. I'm not looking for a mansion, just a regular house that 4 walls and a roof. That's all I'm looking for. But everything has to be gray because of, we're covered in coal dust all the time. You don't see, coal trains running through his backyard. And these are houses that have been there for, over half a century, falling apart. It's just poverty. You've got the opiate epidemic, people dying in his mines. I've done videos previously about that. People, and for what? For an obsolete resource? We don't have to do that. Mountaintop removal, poisoning our water, the MCHM spill, all this stuff goes directly back. They're destroying our environment. They're destroying our people. They're destroying our economy. Also, he can live in a house like that.
Didn't you have something blow up yesterday?
Yes, right. I mean, like not even a mile from me, right across the river, was a gigantic chemical plant explosion. I mean, and it was so scary because, you don't know how big is that explosion going to be? Is it going to be like, is it going to obliterate everything within, a certain mile radius? What are we breathing in? And it's right by the Canal River. So all that stuff that's blowing up into the air, it's falling right back down into the river that we get our drinking water from.
What was that chemical? Do you know what they made at that chemical plant? No idea.
Proprietary information. We're not allowed to know what
You should be, because that's a public interest. That's endangering the public. I hope people are suing the shit out of that guy right now. That's unconscionable that you don't even know what the MSDS, the Material Safety Data Sheets, say, and you will never be able to see them without a Freedom of Information Act, correct?
Correct. And they don't even do health studies afterwards. Now, when they had the MCHM spill, there was a second chemical in that. Nobody knows that. Even the people here, they don't know that there was a second chemical. But it doesn't get talked about because when we were trying to get the information, they absolutely refused to release any information on it because of proprietary information. They didn't want to lose money. They didn't do any kind of follow-up, health tests on us to see the long-term effects on MCHM or that other chemical. I don't see any environmental impact reports. How long is it going to be in our environment? Will it break down? Will it ever? Are we just stuck with that? Does it go into the water cycle? So when it rains, is it in our rain? How does it affect our water pipes? Are we going to have to, replace our water pipes and our water tanks?
Are you going to be another Flint? Is this going to be another Flint, Michigan because of this?
It probably is with everything. But the thing is like so many companies have poisoned us with so many different types of chemicals. They cannot pinpoint one company. So it's like, killing Caesar. Everybody stabbed him, so there's no murder There's no murderer because everybody stabbed him. You can't throw
That's a great analogy. That's what's happening to our country, our planet. Everybody's killing the country and the planet. So there's no murderer. We're all murderers. So that's insane.
we are Spartacus of douchebags.
This is insane. Stevie, when is enough going to be enough for the people of Virginia, in your opinion?
I don't know. I think that they've had enough. I think the problem is that they just don't feel like there's anything they can do about it. They're living in houses like this, if they're lucky enough. They're just trying to keep a roof over their head and food on the table, looking for a job when there's no jobs available except for Walmart or McDonald's. And so they're so busy trying to do that, and they feel powerless. I mean, like, what are they going to do against the Jim Justices or the Joe Manchin? So that's why I try to, I try to follow up this with actual, ways that we can do things.
Okay.
I mean, we're not powerless. We've done it before. We've given them hell before, the coal mines, the coal mine wars, and, the teacher strike. I mean, we can do it. We can do it, but we just...
you can't do it alone. We have to, our sisters and brothers across the country have to realize what happens in West Virginia happens in Oregon and Washington and California. We cannot maintain this, well, I'm glad it happened there and not here. Well, it's coming. So we have to start reaching across the aisle, the political aisle, the environmental aisles, and we have to unite with the 99% who are being poisoned, murdered, used for cannon fodder in wars. This has to be the point at which our society wakes the hell up, because the planet is dying. It is dying, and we will be complicit in allowing it to die unless we step up. What is this another one?
Oh, this is everybody's favorite, Gavin Newsom. Now, my governor is a Republican, right? So everybody says, well, Republicans are the bad guys. They're the ones that are really screwing this country up. Now, here's a Democratic governor. This is Governor Gavin Newsom's modern $5.9 million Marin County home right here. He has multiple bedrooms. I was going through, I'm going to have to send you this link, because if you read through this, it is infuriating, because they go through each room and take pictures of each room. And so one of the bedrooms was described as boho chic.
Boho chic.
I had to look it up because I'm not rich enough to understand that shit. But I mean, boho chic. It's just it's the extravagance of these people. Now, let's take a look at how the people live in California.
All right, there we go. Lost the camera for a minute, so now it's back. Wow, Democrats are good guys. Am I right?
I mean, aren't you glad you got a Democratic governor over there to where you don't look like West Virginia?
Well, between him and Garcetti, I don't know who's worse, but Garcetti's the mayor of L.A., and they're both criminals. This vote blue, this working within the Democratic Party stuff, has got to end. Direct actions are the only thing. And until we can all get up the guts to stand with each other in all of our skins, this crap's going to continue.
Yeah. I mean, we need to stop pretending, because I just showed you a Democratic president, a Republican president. I showed you a Democratic governor, a Republican governor. And what's the difference when you're looking at this? What is the difference?
Yeah, there's no difference. They're all in a club, in a big club, baby, and we ain't in it. We're not in it.
Absolutely not.
What is this all about?
Now, I think that we should start electing California prisoners as governor.
I agree.
They're doing a bang up job. They're doing more for the people than Governor Gavin Newsom ever has. Here you see, you've got California inmates fighting wildfires. You have them paying for student tuitions when Gavin Newsom denies them tuition. They're there. I mean, and you know that the prisoners, they're making what, a penny, couple of cents an hour?
Which is criminal. Yeah, that's criminal. Yeah.
So you have slaves basically putting our children through college. They care more about our children than the damn governor does. They're putting out the wildfires. They're out there cleaning up the litter. and taking care of the planet and doing stuff like that. They're the ones down there making, your license plates. They are the ones apparently keeping the economy running because they're making all these things, right, for all these businesses that are exploiting their labor and not paying them for it. So they've done more for California than Gavin Newsom ever has or ever will. So I would rather see one of them, any of them, pick one, put them in office. I'd rather see them in office than that hypocrite Newsom.
I absolutely agree once again. I mean, this is the prison industrial complex at its best. This went on steroids with Bill Clinton, by the way. Yeah, this is sickening. It says these inmates at Soledad Prison in California rallied together to raise $300,000 for a student whose parents needed costly medical attention. What in the hell is that all about? They raised the money, $300,000 for a student whose parents needed costly medical attention. Listen, damn it. We need Medicare for all, universal health care in this country. And anybody that votes blue, no matter who, because of Trump, better get that thought out of their frickin' head and start voting on policy that's going to save families like this instead of placating and saying the Democrats, oh, but we got rid of Trump, now it's time to go to brunch. I'm sick of this shit. It's incredible. I didn't even know these prisoners had to raise money for one family's medical costs. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just one of the instances. I mean, and they're fighting, and what we don't hear about ever in the news is that there is a massive prisoner strike going on. Hunger strikes. They're doing all this stuff. They're trying so hard. They're fighting back because they don't have anything to lose other than, of course, being beat by prison guards and being thrown in solitary confinement. But, at that point, they're just like, whatever. I mean, you're already going to do that to me anyway. So, I mean, I might as well, fight. And that's, I mean, if they can do that, we need to show our support. I mean, and most of those people don't even belong in there. It's all for what? Drug busts or nonviolent crimes.
Yeah.
Let's see. And this slide right here. Any government that prevents its prisoners from voting has a tremendous incentive to arrest its dissenters. And this is what they do. That's why Julian Assange is in prison. That's why Chelsea Manning is in prison. That's why all of our truth tellers and whistleblowers had to flee the country, because you're not allowed to dissent. You're not allowed to dissent. And anybody that does go to prison, not only do they not get to vote while they're in, but once they get out, most states won't allow them to vote. So they have every incentive to lock you up. It's a catch and release. Catch you, tag you, release you. We're going to catch you, throw you in prison, use you as slaves. And if you get out, your voice doesn't matter anymore. You can't get a job, right? Can't get a job because you have a record now. You can't vote. So, I mean, what else are they supposed to do? Oh, maybe go back to crime. And that's how they keep them coming back.
So what you're saying is we're advocating our responsibilities, not only as citizens of this country, but as parents, to set this up for our children who possibly will, and many will, make mistakes in their life, nonviolent things, to go into a system of slavery, rampant slavery. This country, these representatives, everybody should be ashamed of themselves for setting up our future generations to fail. It's bad enough we're doing it to the current generations, but with everything that's going on, this must end. This must end, and voting blue will not end it. I'm sorry. I've got to tell you, looking at this cabinet that the President-elect Biden's putting in of war hawks, lobbyists, and people in movers and shakers is just going to be more of the same that we had under Obama, and it's going to set up a takeover by the Republican Party for decades to come. Not that the planet has that long, but business as usual ain't gonna cut it. And the more we stand here or sit on our ass and bitch about it without doing anything, the quicker we're going to lose for the generations and the planets. Oh gosh, dang it. So I don't know what to tell you.
And this leads up to this slide right here, which is, this is controlling the flow of information. They are silencing people. They are silencing prisoners, the people that have the most to say about how screwed up the whole system is, the people that have been, through it all and witnessed it firsthand. And a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of videos recently where cops are being outed for planting drugs on people. So, I mean, you've got completely innocent people, not to mention the judicial system that forces you to take a plea bargain. I mean, they have ways of forcing innocent people into that prison system at at any cost. So, and now you've got this. Now we have media. Media doesn't report on that. They don't report on the prisoners, doing the right thing, taking care of their community. And then now you have the silencing of people that are actually speaking the truth. So if you want to go ahead and play that.
Okay, I sure will.
About YouTube and some changes that are now in effect. This is from their official blog supporting the 2020 U.S. election. Updates to our work supporting the integrity of the 2020 election. Over the past weeks and months, we've seen people coming to YouTube to learn more about where and how to vote, or learning more about a candidate or an issue. We've seen news organizations grow their audience, and we've seen people turn to YouTube for the latest election results, or simply to follow an historic event with the highest voting turnout in over a century in the U.S. Our main goal going into the election season was to make sure we're connecting people with authoritative information, while also limiting the reach of misinformation and removing harmful content. The work here is ongoing, and we want to provide an update. As they talk about the number of channels that they've removed and videos that removed. We also want to make sure that there's a line between what is removed and what is allowed is drawn in the right place. Our policies prohibit misleading viewers about where and how to vote. We also disallow content alleging widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of a historic U.S. presidential election. However, in some cases, that has meant allowing controversial views on the outcome or process of counting votes of a current election, or election officials have worked to finalize counts. Yesterday was the safe harbor deadline for the U.S. presidential election, and enough states have certified their election results to determine a president-elect. Given that, we will start removing any piece of content uploaded today or any time after that misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, in line with our approach towards historical U.S. presidential elections. For example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won the election due to widespread software glitches or counting errors. We will begin enforcing this policy today and will ramp up in the weeks to come. As always, news coverage and commentary on these issues can remain on our site if there's sufficient education, documentary, scientific, or artistic context.
Well, there you have it. What's next? What's next? Anything you say that does not comply to what the Borg wants done, are they going to take you down?
I mean, this is it's very
1984.
I hate to say scary, but I don't like to instill fear in people. But I mean, this is very troubling. If we can't have a free discussion, then we can't dissent. We can't. I mean, that's why when I meet people that recite Rachel Maddow at me, I get it. I understand, because they have been so sheltered from information by design. They have silenced people, driven them out of the country, thrown them in jail, killed them, tortured them, paid them off, don't report on it at all. That's another favorite, just lie by omission. They just don't talk about it. And now we have this, where you can't say anything. So now we're not allowed to tell the truth, and now, or even question. We're not even allowed to ask questions. And what's going to happen to Convo Couch? That's the first person, when I saw this, that's the first person I thought, I was like, oh my God, Pasta and Feed, because they cover this stuff. And Nico House. And what's going to happen to them? Are they going to be removed? Are they going to get the Alex Jones treatment where they get scrubbed?
Well, possibly.
from the internet?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm encouraging everybody to go over to Rockfin. That's supposedly a safe haven right now. We're over there. But yeah, free speech is being ripped from our grip by the oligarchs. And what makes me sick are those on the left who would support censorship of any kind. And they do it with fancy, metaphors and comparisons and things like this. They got to stop that shit, because they're coming for you. And this is one free speech right here from Al Walski's in the chat. If people don't rise up, democracy will be perverted to the point where we have no rights at all. They are working on this right now, Al. You all know it in the chat. If you're talking about climate, they're making fun of you guys. Oh, you tinfoil hat people. All you climate people. I'm a climate person. I'm part of that.
Hippie.
Yeah. I'm a tree hugger hippie, or a political sick, or you're a Russian bot. Comrade Stevie here is talking against the state. So there you go. There are so many points where we're being censored. We are being shoved out. We are being algorithmed down. We have to find our safe places. So anytime that you can work with any of our sisters and brothers in social media while we still have platforms, just get up that blood going and get out there and speak, inspire, whatever, educate, whatever you can do. And this is why I love it. We've got Stevie. I produced this one today. What's your channel is Redneckonomics. You usually do it on Zoom. Of course, this is our first premiere show with the format. And of course, the audio punked us. So we got that out of the way. That's not going to happen again, hopefully. So anyway, I guess we should go on. I digress. I apologize, but I had to make that statement. So.
Oh, that's good. That was a good statement to make. Absolutely.
And this one, I brought this one. The 3 richest people are now positioned to pay zero state income tax. Zero state income tax because a lot of the governors have made deals with them, but the wealth gained by U.S. billionaires during the pandemic, just the pandemic, is more than it would have cost to send a stimulus check of $3,000 to every human being in America just during the pandemic. So, challenge me on my numbers all you want, but it's there. These animals are becoming filthy rich because of where we're at during the pandemic, and they pay zero taxes. How do you feel about that, Stevie?
It makes me feel like burning something down. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Protest wise, it makes me want to get out in the streets. It makes me want to make life as hard for them as they do for us. Right? Like they sit there in their ivory towers, in their mansions with their yachts and their oceanfront property. And they sit there and they tell us what to do. They take and now they're getting to the point where it's like they're trying to wring blood out of a turnip, and it's not going to happen. We have nothing left to give. There's nothing left. We don't even have anything for ourselves, let alone, for them to give to them. I mean, there's no more that they can take. And that's why they rely so heavily on the military industrial complex. That's why they use that. It's for colonization, because they've already conquered us. We've become conquered a long time ago.
Yep. And they militarize the police. They're stormtroopers, i.e. that poor woman down there in Florida yesterday who the stormtroopers went in and pointed guns at her kids because, the Republican governor there, accused her of doing something that we know she didn't do. But that's what they're doing. They're going to militarize the police more and more and more. They're going to beat the hell out of us citizens. They're going to oppress us to the point where we have no choice but to fight back. And these 3 scumbags right here, I don't understand how anybody that is not in their club can worship them on the on their success. They're worshipped as successful businessmen. Are you kidding me? I don't worship any of these assholes anymore. I don't worship sports heroes. The sports people that make millions of dollars, they're not heroes. They had a skill and they exploited the public, the capitalist system to make millions of dollars. Good for them. Wrong. That's not how it should be. So that's, I'll...
No, and meanwhile, they're paying nothing.
Nothing.
And guess what the government's doing? They're shaking down unemployed people, telling them that they need to pay back their unemployment.
Unemployed and disabled people. And I would say unemployed and disabled are in some ways the same, because when you don't have the ability to feed yourself and put a roof over your family's head, you become disabled at that point. Because the ableists here are picking and choosing who's going to be in that club, who's going to survive, who's going to be cannon fodder, who's going to go to prison, everything else. This bullshit has got to stop. We have got to get off our ass and stop this stuff. And I'm open to everybody's suggestions. Please, I'll shut up. I'll do something.
Well, I think the French have a few ideas.
I love it. Let's take a look. What we got right here. Is this it? Oh, yes.
This could be us, but we're too busy fighting each other instead of the corrupt system.
Exactly.
Now, look, the French, they have no patience for their government, none whatsoever. They look at the right to protest the way we look at the right to bear arms. So they protect that. They fight for that at all costs. I mean, you can, say something the wrong way and they'll be out in the streets protesting it. Meanwhile, we're over here fighting for guns.
Yeah.
I mean, we should respect the right to protest just like they do.
Absolutely.
Because this is what you have to do. Unless you make things painful, and the only pain that these, wealthy people can feel is, when you shut them off from their money. So unless you make things painful, difficult, for the rich people, the people that control us, our government, our bosses, corporate America, they're not going to change anything. You can write them letters, you can vote, you can do whatever you want to do, but until they start feeling the way that we do, nothing is going to change because we don't get a moment's of peace.
Not one moment.
No. Between working 2 to 3 jobs, you're getting letters in the mail saying that you owe the government money. And you can't keep a roof over your head. They won't give you a stimulus check. They tell you can't work and they won't give you any money. You don't have any health insurance. And not even if you did, it's not like you have time to go to the doctor or the money to go because health insurance only pays a fraction of it. You still get left with a gigantic bill. It only covers part of it. And you can't call off from work because you can't afford to take a day off from work. So we have a constant, and then you just lay there at night thinking about if you get a moment to rest. What do you get to do? You can't afford to go out. You can't afford a vacation. You can't afford to buy things. You can't afford anything. And at the end of the day, you just lay there and you think about, oh my God, I got to do it again all over again the next day. Oh my God, how am I going to make it? Because I can't afford my rent. And then we're supposed to be well educated and out in the streets. This is by design. That's why they do this to us. They undermine our hierarchy of needs. They destroy everything to where we're so busy just trying to survive. Like they keep us like animals.
Yep.
They won't let us think. When you're not allowed to think or feel or act like a human being, they just want to turn us into animals.
It's
Just
by
sitting there
design.
just surviving.
It's by design because an educated populist, a populist that doesn't have to worry about health care, a populist that doesn't have to worry about a job. Oh no, we can't have that. We need them out there scraping and begging for every shred of scrap that we can give them, because that way we control them. But guess what? There is a breaking point. We're seeing this in France. We saw it in India this week. 250 million. Oh, I can only dream about 250 million Americans just out there doing direct actions, not fucking around with trying to fix a party that's so damn corrupt from the inside. They were out in the streets, and that's what direct actions are. We all know it, and sure, and I'll bring this up. sure, I'm happy Nina is running for Congress, but guess what? You better not count on that, because she's going to succumb to the same corruption that Bernie and so many others of these progressives have encountered. So yeah, go for it, Nina. I'll vote for you. But at the same time, Nina, you better be able to put on your soft walking shoes and get out there in a picket line or in an activist point with us and walk it. Just like that phony President Obama said he would, and he never did. So we are expecting, we're setting the bar for the squad and people like Nina Turner, who I think is fantastic. But we have to focus on direct actions, because the electoral process in this country is not going to fix it in time. We have to do it all. So that's another one that I got to throw out there. We have a clip here. Now this one is about, is this Macron or is this the economy?
This is the police state and what's going on in France right now while they're protesting right now.
Okay.
Not what started the yellow vest protest. This is just an ongoing. This is the newest thing.
Okay, and Macron is a scuzzbag. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Joining me now to go further
Now-
in depth on this topic is host of
Now this is the one on the economy. This one is it's cut.
I think it's about 22 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah, let me push this forward. Right here. Is that it? I'm thinking.
Maybe.
Let's see. French police. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Then we'll go back to the economic aspect of it. Let me see. Here we go.
comments from President Macron are being met with backlash from police. Two of the country's largest police unions are now calling for a total blockade on ID checks and even arrest after their president said that people of color are more likely to be targeted by police, and then called for the creation of a platform where citizens could report discrimination by their local officers. RT's Charlotte Dubinsky has the latest from Paris on the ongoing divisions.
It's being described as a crisis of public confidence in the security forces amidst violent protests against the global security law that was aimed at strengthening measures to protect the police. There's been a renewed focus on police violence. High-profile incidents, including that of black music producer Michel Zickler in his studio, have shocked those at the very top.
I tried to call my lawyer. I tried to call a lot of people. Even a neighbor heard my screams. He wanted to call the police, but it was the police.
And now, to add fuel to the fire surrounding Zeckler's case, the 4 officers implicated are to be given financial support from the police as they are investigated by that body. All have admitted his beating was not justified.
There was no reason for the police union to dish out funds from its money pot. The Paris police prefect Didier Lallement granted protection to the 4 police officers indicted in the Michel Zickler case.
Okay, so I'll cut it there. So they're doing the same thing that our so-called police unions are doing here. They go in there, they beat the hell out of this guy in his own house because of his political positions, right? And then they go in there, and now those cops are basically suspended without pay, until the investigation permits. And this is where the stormtroopers, and this is exactly what happened to Rebecca Johnson down in Florida. She didn't get the hell beat out of her, but believe me, she could have. Somebody could have got hurt. And Breonna Taylor, I mean, same kind of thing. Killed her. So, again, this has got to stop, and it's not going to end well for any of us.
No. And then when you do fight back, you're labeled as violent, as rioters, and then the smear campaign starts. And it's not, they don't ever touch on, okay, are they going out there and beating police and killing police? Like they are killing and beating people in the streets. No, they're protesting. And for the most part, it's absolutely peaceful. Now, most of the ones that you've seen, like footage of where the Target windows are being busted out by a police officer, a lot of these are agent provocateurs. They come in and they do these things to slander the name of the protesters. So people label them as violent. But to my knowledge, they're not out there. There's not a group, a union of protesters out there committed to killing and beating and subjugating people, police officers, and throwing them in prison to use them as slaves. So you cannot compare that. It is not violence. To even if they were out there spray painting buildings, that's not violence. That is vandalism. Vandalism is not violence. All that does is make Target or Walmart have to pay a fee. Oh my God, billionaires are going to have to replace a window. Whatever will they do? How will they survive? I guess we'll have to bail them out because they had to replace a window. And so France, they don't care. They're out there. They are fighting back against this because they understand that if you don't fight back against this, it's only going to get worse. That's how we're in the position we're in right now, is because, not that people haven't been fighting, but it's just, it hasn't been effectively or as a group. We have different factions of people doing different things, but we have not really rallied together. And that's what you were talking about, Oz, was, reaching across to people that, don't necessarily belong or fit in with your group. You got your coastal people live on the coast. They're reaching out to rural America. I try to reach out to them, try to help them with what's going on in their states. So, because and I try to warn people, you look at my state, you think, well, they're so stupid. Then why would they vote that way? Why would they allow that in their state? But look around. California has oil rigs in the ocean. Streets are lined with homeless people. Nobody can afford rent. So, are y'all any better off than what we have here? So, it's time for us to just cut through all this bullshit. They keep wanting to make us into enemies. And like that slide said, I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting any of these people. I'm here to fight the people that created this system.
Yep. That's the one. Those are the enemies. We need to reach across and get with our sisters and brothers who we may disagree with politically on certain points, but when it comes down to it, unless we build some true unity in the 99% and all these clubbers in Congress, which I want to remind everybody again, most of your so-called representatives in Congress are millionaires. I think it's up to like 88% of them, maybe 90. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get any representation, whether you think you are or not. And history shows that. So we have another clip. Is this France too?
I think so. But that was just showing some of the protests. If you want to go ahead and skip over that one, because that RT video kind of touched on that.
Okay, and this is macaroni, right?
Yeah, we have macarons. Hold on, I can't read that. It's too tiny.
Macarons, mostly aired, no nutritional value, comes from whatever flavor the general public wants for the rich people. Macron, the same, but he's the president of France. Well, yeah. He's another empty suit that's a tool of the oligarchs that are running this old planet here. So there you go. That was a good one. I like that one. That was funny. You have this. You brought this. What is this? This is Mother Mercy.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for leftists on Twitter, I wouldn't have any idea that 250 million people are striking in India. That's 1 in 4 persons, working persons. Not a single major Western media outlet has covered it because they don't want you to know what we can achieve.
No, they don't. They don't want anything to give you actual hope and try and foment some change. Thank you once again. What do we have? This is India.
Yeah.
Want me to run this?
This is the protest going on in India. Now, from what I gathered, what started it was it's farmers that's protesting.
Correct.
So the farmers are protesting because what they're trying to do is kind of force them into selling to corporations instead of selling for themselves, which is going to, when corporations set the price, they're going to make less money. They know that. Now, BBC News, they're trying to spin it as they say this, the government says that, who knows what the truth is. But we know how that plays out. We witnessed it here time and time again. We know exactly how that plays out. When you let the corporations come in and dictate the prices, these people are going to get screwed, and they know it. So this is them fighting back.
All right.
For days, farmers have been protesting here at the Delhi-Singhu border, and thousands, as you can see, have gathered here. Now, today they're calling on the rest of India to join them in a national strike. But why exactly are farmers so angry?
Farmer will become helpless, right? The whole control of the farming will go into the big corporates' hands. Most of the people's livelihood in this country is based on the agriculture. That's why people are scared that if they will control this food market, where they will buy our crop at whatever price they want, and they will sell at whatever price they want.
Well, the government says that these new farm laws will actually open up opportunities. But talking
Bullshit.
to people here protesting, and they disagree. Now, one of their big concerns is overpricing. At the moment, farmers generally sell their crops via wholesale markets, which are controlled by the government, and where they're offered guaranteed prices, the MSP, the minimum support price. Now, with the markets opening up and farmers able to sell directly to big businesses, there's a concern that those guaranteed prices will, in the long run, end up going away, and so will the farmers' profits.
The corporates will come, they'll pay whatever they want to pay, not the thing the farmer wants to sell on.
How do you feel about the future for farming in India then?
Very scared. Not just for me, for those farmers under 10 acres, they'll die.
Well, the protesters have been here for nearly 2 weeks. So they've kind of set up a camp and a community here. They're giving out tea and biscuits here for the morning. And if you just come with me through the crowd at a safe distance, you can see here as well, they're giving out supplies, toothbrushes, toothpaste, soaps. So you're sleeping in the cold right
Yes,
now?
we are sleeping in the cold.
How are you finding the cold?
We have to bear this pain for the cause we are fighting.
Well, so far talks between the farmers and the government seem to have failed to reach any sort of agreement, and it looks like people here are going to be here for the long haul. They've set up community kitchen here, people here cleaning the dishes, and some people are staying on the back of their trucks, making them their temporary homes. Hello there, sir. Kaise ho?
We've made this our home. We'll fight for all our rights, whether it takes 4 years or more. We're here to stay.
Well, that's inspiring to me. The corporations have been destroying the small farmer for the last 3 or 4 decades, at least in this country. I have personal friends who have been basically destroyed by the corporations. Blueberry farmers up in Washington, northern Washington, up in Whatcom County. They've been wiped out because they can't take their blueberries anymore because the corporations tell outfits like Costco and these big box stores, you better not buy from them or we're not going to sell your product. And that's bullshit. And I want to say one more thing. The suicide rate among farmers in the United States has gone insane in the last 20 years. So it's horrible. And these people, this is another culture. Now, any of you looking, they're just the same as you and I. They bleed, they cry, they have children they love, they have families. Now, think about that. Who gives a shit how any of us look? Because the core being inside of us cares about the same thing we all care about. We care about our planet and its people and about doing the right thing for our sisters and brothers. These animals in Congress and these governments around the world, all they care about is money and power. They could give a shit about us. All we are cannon fodder for their taking over the planet and their privileged positions in life.
No, that's well put, and that's a great point that you brought up. Is like, look, they look different. They're from a different country, but you know what? They're not different.
They're not.
They have exactly the same desires and worries, and now you have the same type of corporate oppression coming down on them. So when the corporations set the prices, what do you think that means for them? They're going to buy cheap, sell high. That's exactly. They're going to get exploited and used basically as slave labor.
Slave labor.
Like what we have here.
Yep.
And what's that going to do for their family? India already has a huge poverty problem. You've already got all these people living in
boxes.
Just destitution.
Yep.
I mean, basically looking like people over in California, like the homeless people in California. And these are people that are working. So, and also, now you've got this. It's just another way for them to wring more wealth out of the people. Who else can we exploit? Well, we've already exploited these people. They don't have anything left to give. Screw them. Let's move on to farmers. Farmers, that's right. Just like we did to what? We did that to Mexican farmers. Remember when we moved all of our corporations down there?
Yep.
We got rid of all their farming.
Took their corn away. Yep.
They had nothing left to turn to except to go and work for Walmart for what, $1 or $2 an hour.
Yep. That's it. That's it. That's
and
what. Yep.
We've exported this. We've exported, oppression, colonization, and now they're doing the American game plan right now. They're doing that, and I wouldn't doubt if we didn't have a role to play in that.
Oh, I'm sure we did. I mean,
it would not surprise me one bit.
No. You're right.
From somebody.
You're right. I mean, it's world domination, and it's by a tiny percent of these scumbags. And we're all going to die on this planet the way it's going. We're going to drown or burn up. And I don't understand. Is there end game, Stevie? Is there end game just to die partying and being in uber comfort and looking down on the peasants and watching them die? What the hell?
I don't even know. I mean, what's the end game? Like, what is it? Where's the level that you reach and you're just like, yes, I've achieved it. You know, like, what is it? How many mansions?
Yeah.
I mean, what has to be in your bank account? How many politicians do you have to own? How many people do you have to send to war? I mean, what is it? Just tell us. I mean, just stop with the mind games and the propaganda. Just tell us. Just tell us.
Yeah. Please tell us.
Because they're at the point now, they feel like they can just do whatever corruption they want. Near Tanden's up there saying that we should invade people for oil.
Yep.
And they don't even hide their corruption anymore.
Yep. They don't.
But it's just like, just be real with this. Just tell us. Just tell us what it is. Just tell us what you fucking want. But that they won't do that because, why should they have to explain themselves to the peasants, right?
Yep.
We're not worth talking to or explaining anything to. We just shut up and do what you're told.
Well, that's what I get from
Walmart. Shut up and go to prison.
Yeah. That's what we get from our party structures too. It's, get in behind us and stay there. Don't say anything, don't challenge anything. So it's all part of that. I know a lot of folks don't even like to go there. Politics, religion, everything else. Those are the most important things you need to do because they're the ones that set policy. They're the ones that enable the military-industrial complex, the police states. They're the ones that give corporations all of the tax breaks. And they've been using it under the auspices of trickle-down economics ever since Ronnie and before. And the only thing that's been trickled down on us is P. So it's at a breaking point, Steph. Stevie. I don't know. Anyway, I see we're at the end of the deck.
I can see because they have India has a massive population, and whenever you have a massive amount of people, you have to do something. The government sees that as a threat.
Yeah.
So that's more people that they have to control. So they have to go to these extreme lengths. You see what America does. You see what China does to their people.
Yeah.
And now India is doing the same thing. Just anything to keep them divided. Anything to keep them down.
Yep.
Anything to just don't look at us. Don't look at us too much. Let's take and take and take. Because now if these farmers are forced to just grow and sell and live in poverty, well, they're not going to have too much time to fight back against, the corruption of their government.
No, they're not. And this is, again, designed to make us hate the little brown people in another country for our woes, just like they're being made to hate we, the people, who are allowing these criminals to do horrible things to them. So you've got a meme here. It says, "Boss made $1, I made a dime. That was a poem from a simpler time. Now boss makes 1,000 and gives us a cent, while he's got employees who can't pay the rent. So when the boss makes 1,000,000 and the workers make jack, then that's when we riot and take our lives back." I think we're there.
Absolutely.
I think we are there. Very good meme. I really appreciate you allowing me to join you today, Stevie, and I'm sorry we had the audio issues. I got a little post-production work because I've got to redo these and put them back up. Do you want to say anything to the chats before we roll out?
Yeah, hopefully I appreciate everybody being here and watching and participating. I know we had a little bit of a rough start, but other than that, I mean, it wouldn't be one of my videos if we didn't have that. So I really appreciate everybody being here and joining us and, you know, liking and sharing and all that. I'm gonna go back through after this and read through the live chat because I know I missed some things. I got, you know, Barbara in here, Jilly Love, Human Love, Solidarity. So, you know, our usual people, good people here.
Yeah, we got we got Gene, and we've got DJ, we got Keith Hayes, we've got Pat the Batman fan. We're running on 2 YouTube streams right now, plus some other streams. I'm going to fix the Rockfen one, so it's all clean in its entirety. Do you have any announcements that you'd like to make? When do you want to do it again? And again, thank you for letting us produce. Shannon and I help produce this one, and we will do better every time. We'd like to do more for you when you have time.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I don't know any of this tech stuff, so you know, you're helping me on that for sure. Yeah, if you want to see more of my videos, you can, you know, check out my channel, Redneckonomics. I'll be on here. I've been working, you know, with y'all over here on Roar Media, Natural Progressive. I'm on Monotalk's channel a lot. That's my husband. He talks about COVID-19 and stuff like that a lot. Really focuses on that and the economics, the power structure, and the numbers behind it. We have a nonprofit. It's called nonpartyvoters.org, where that's basically breaking up the duopoly, taking the power away from the parties and giving it back to the people so that we can, you know, build a, you know, society based on policies and not parties or politicians. So if you're interested in any of that, you know, you can check out that. And just, you know, appreciate everybody for watching.
All right. Thank you so much. And you're going to be at the Roar Media board meeting tonight. You have volunteered to be one of the ladies on the Roar Media board. Thank you so much for doing that. There's so many different jobs there and that need to be filled, and for stepping up. We really do appreciate it. And I appreciate all the chatters here today in both streams on YouTube. Again, sorry about the audio thing. I will fix it in post, and we're going to head out. I want to compliment Stephanie. Has really taken on the slide deck here, and she's got some great I love the greens with the green mountains and everything else. So thank you again for seriously working on production, and let's do some more. Everybody, have a great afternoon, and I think Joy is going to be on tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time. She's got a guest, and I just saw that pop up. I don't have the details, but I'll get to work on that right away. So check out Joy Savage Hour with Savage Joy Marie at 6 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and we're going to head on out.
Bye, y'all.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain